there, ref. That's he got the ball. Good morning, Tottenham Hotspur fans all across the globe, and today, European semi-finalist Tottenham Hotspur. How good does that sound? Return home to N17 to take on high-flying Nottingham Forest, who have a familiar face in the dugout in former Spurs boss Nuno Espirito Santo. With all eyes now turning toward our Europa League journey, it really is tough to predict exactly what performance we'll see today, but in my view, this is a golden opportunity to ride the wave of positivity, build some momentum, and quieten down some of that noise surrounding the football club. Make no mistake about it, this will not be a walk in the park. Forest are chasing a Champions League dream of their own after spending 2 decades down in the Championship, so they will arrive motivated, confident, and ready to make this difficult. Postecoglou has hinted at making 5 or 6 changes tonight to keep his squad fresh and focused, and with that in mind, let's dive into the predicted lineup that I think Postecoglou will go with. Starting with goalkeeper, and I do think Guglielmo Vicario is one of few that will retain his place in the starting lineup tonight. And I do think he delivered one of his better performances Thursday night against Frankfurt, securing our first clean sheet since mid-February and making 5 crucial saves on the night. Also, in possession on the ball, I thought Vicario showed maturity, very good decision making, going long when the short options weren't available rather than forcing the risky pass. Today though, I do think presents a different challenge for Vicario. Nottingham Forest will likely look to exploit aerial situations, pumping crosses into that box for target man Chris Wood, who's been a handful all season long, to go on attack. This is an area of vulnerability for Vicario, who at times has looked shaky dealing with crosses and often seen flapping at them. To help ease the pressure on the back line and keep Wood quiet, he does need to show that he can be more commanding in the air, coming out with confidence and claiming crosses wherever possible. Moving into fullbacks, and I am going to go with Destiny Udogie and Jedi Spence. Today's opponents will look to exploit the flanks, with Anthony Elanga and Callum Hudson-Odoi aiming to stretch our defence and deliver crosses into the box for Chris Wood. It's been a key part of Forest's attack and play all season, so I do think if we can stop the supply to Chris Wood, we greatly increase our chances of getting a result. For me, the best fullback pairing equipped to be able to deal with this threat is Jed Spence and Destiny Udogie. Both are defensively solid and athletic enough to be able to get on the ball and transition very, very quickly into attack. Playing Pedro Porro in a game like this, where discipline and defensive awareness is needed, I think is a recipe for disaster. Moving into centre-back, and we will start with the right-hand side, and I think Christian Romero will retain his place. Romero was absolutely outstanding against Frankfurt, making 10 clearances, winning 9 of his 12 duels, and completing 100% of his dribbles. One moment that really stood out to me was his ball over the top for James Maddison, who bravely won the penalty. Long-time viewers of the predicted lineup series will know that I have mentioned this pass on a number of occasions before. Romero, I think, adds a different dimension when playing out from the back, helping us avoid being so one-dimensional in possession. And honestly, that ball was reminiscent of Toby Alderweireld. He used to pull off them passes regularly. Calm on the ball, great vision, very strong defensively, and in all honesty, I do believe Romero is of a similar calibre when at his best. Today though, he does face a very different kind of challenge in Chris Wood, a big physical striker who thrives on direct service. It's going to be a real test of Romero's composure and physicality, and I'm curious to see how he handles this one. With all focus now on the Europa League, I do think Mickey van der Ven will be given a rest and Kevin Danso will come in on the left-hand side. In his pre-match press conference, here's what Postecoglou had to say on Danso. I think it's important that we give him some game time because I think he will be important moving forward. Now, Danso did get the last 5 minutes in Frankfurt, and I'd be shocked if he doesn't start here. Personally, I actually rate Danso highly. I think he's got quality and composure, unlike Radu Dragusin. I think he genuinely has the potential to be able to break up the Mickey van der Ven and Romero centre-back partnership in the future, whereas Dragusin in contrast couldn't make an impact and then ended up getting his agent to put pressure on the football club for game time. Danso versus Chris Wood is shaping up to be a proper old school battle. 2 big no-nonsense players going head to head. It's definitely one to keep an eye on. Moving into midfield, and we'll start with CDM. Rodrigo Bentancur was superb on Thursday night, completing 91% of his passes, winning every aerial duel he contested. He's definitely earned a rest here, and I would hope finally Archie Gray will be the one to come in for him. With Yves Bissouma reportedly leaving this club in the summer, I really personally don't see much point or the benefit in giving him more minutes. It feels like to me the perfect opportunity to be able to play Archie Gray in his natural midfield midfield role. Let him show what he can offer and find out whether he can be trusted more consistently in that position next season, or is that an area where we need to go and spend money? Now that Davies and Danzo are back in the fold, Ray should no longer be needed as emergency cover, so there's no excuse for him not to be given a proper run in the midfield. Give the fans what they want. I also think that Papamatta Sarr will come in for Lucas Bergvall, who was absolutely brilliant against Frankfurt on Saturday night, but playing on the left of the midfield. Now, I do think that Papamatta Sarr has become somewhat of the forgotten figure in midfield as the season has gone on, but I do think this is an absolute great opportunity for him to remind everyone of the quality and energy that he can bring to this team. And after picking up a knock against Frankfurt, James Maddison is expected to sit out the Forest clash, paving way for Dejan Kulusevski to come in and fill that creative void as he continues to build up his match fitness and sharpness. And the reason why I put him on the right hand side is because when Kulusevski does play through the middle, Postecoglou does prefer to use him on that right hand side. Now, it's of my opinion, I think Kulusevski looked lively on Thursday, or as lively as we could expect after being out for so long, carrying that ball comfortably through the final third and carving out a few decent chances on the evening. After some times on the sideline, I do think this is the perfect opportunity for Kulusevski to be able to remind everyone of the quality that he brings and the influence that he can bring to the team when he's fully fit and firing. I am especially excited to see how he links up with more dynamic wide players like the likes of Matisse Tell and Wilson Odobert now coming to the fore, and I do think it could potentially unlock our attack and add a new spark to our attack. Let me know what you think of that one in the comment section below. Moving into the forward line, and we will start with left wing. Son will miss the game with a foot injury as confirmed by Ange Postecoglou, meaning Matisse Tell will retain his place in the starting lineup. And I do think Matisse Tell had a good game Thursday night. I actually think he was the catalyst for that victory. When we were under pressure, maybe looking a little bit nervous, it was him that picked up that ball, got us up the field, running at his fullback, being brave, looking to cut in, grab a couple of shots. And I just think everyone else gained a little bit of confidence off the back of him. So fair play to him on Thursday night. Now, when we first signed Tell, I was pretty vocal saying that he's not a natural striker. I always saw him as a natural winger. And looking back at his performances since we signed him in January, his best showings have definitely come off the left-hand side. And initially, I was against the idea of signing him permanently. However, I am starting to reconsider that slightly, and I think if we can get that fee down from around 60 million to around 30 million, I'll be very comfortable taking this kid on board. What's really won me over is his ability to be able to move that ball quickly in tight spaces using both feet. That kind of technical ability is rare. It's not something that you can coach. You either have it or you do not. So I think he's definitely a player that we can develop and mould into something special over time. And with Son's injury, he has a run of games now to be able to show his work. So let's go. Hopefully we can get a good performance from Matisse Tell going forward today, because we real badly need. Moving on to right wing, and Brennan Johnson, he put in a real shift against Frankfurt, but was poor in possession, and I do think that he will be given a rest here, meaning Wilson Odobert is likely to come in on the right hand side. Now, with the semi-final on the horizon, I would say that Johnson's place in the starting 11 is very much up for grabs right now. And I think this is a big opportunity for Wilson Odobert to make his case. I do think Odobert brings a different kind of threat. He's more direct when he picks up that ball, and importantly, he also has some end product to match. One thing I really like about Wilson Odobert is that he commits defenders, which then creates space for teammates around him, and that kind of movement and intent is exactly what you need to be able to unlock defenses and keep this attack flowing. And lastly, I think Johnson at times this season has been a large beneficiary of Kulusevski's running power and his strength in possession, often just making runs off him and Kulusevski sliding them in. I'll be very interested to see if Odobert and Kulusevski can be even more potent, because I am a firm believer that we can't just rely on attacking down the left-hand side, putting it across the box for Brennan Johnson to run in and tap. If we want to be a more potent attack going forward, if we want to kill games off with more intent, you have to be able to attack through the middle. You have to be able to come at them down the right hand side as well. And I just think having Kulusevski back, getting Maddison back in there, Odobert on the right, Matisse Tell off the left, I think that would definitely open up the attack a lot more, and hopefully we will be a lot more exciting to watch. And that brings me then into the forward line, and Dominic Solanke did end his goal drought in style at the Deutsche Bank Park, calmly converting that penalty on the 43rd minute. A much needed boost to Dominic Solanke's confidence after going 11 games without scoring. And now I think is the perfect time off the back of him scoring is to say, look Dom, time to have a little rest on the bench. We need to preserve you, which I think opens the pathway for Richarlison to come in and get his first start in a long time. And with just 6 games left and possibly 2 or even hopefully 3 more in the Europa League, I think this is a huge window for Richarlison to be able to prove not only his fitness but also his value heading into next season. The truth is, with all the speculation around it, with how little he's been available over the last 3 seasons, many wouldn't mind seeing Richarlison sold. So I do think he actually needs to put a quite sensational run together to convince many fans that he can be relied on and a key player heading into next year. I really do hope he can find the back of the net, because I do think having him and Solanke going tit for tat, chasing each other down between now and the end of the season, will benefit Tottenham Hotspur. So guys, that is my predicted lineup for today's big game against Nottingham Forest. I'll run through it very quickly. Guglielmo Vicario comes in goals. Spence and Udogie at fullback. Romero and Danzo as your centre-back partnership. Gray, Kulusevski and Sarr in midfield. Matisse Tell off the left. Odobert off the right. And Richarlison through the middle. So guys, please get in the comments. Give me your predicted lineup. Let me know if there's anything you agree or disagree with, how you're feeling ahead of today's game, and most importantly, how you're feeling being a European semi-finalist. Do you now believe? Are you now entertained? Well, guys, let me know in the comment section below. Please run them like buttons up, and I will see you back here for the pre-match build-up this evening. As always, come on, you Spurs!